Hello, we're here with Jeff Robinson, CEO of MJ MedTech, and Leon Giza, CEO of BioDelta.
Hey, Craig, thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, Craig. Good to be on. Thank you.
Jeff, you announced your entrance into the psychedelic mushroom market in early April. A month later, Denver votes to legalize medicinal mushrooms. Talk to us about what you're doing with M2 Bio and what the Denver vote means for the market overall.
Yeah, fantastic question. We were very happy to see Denver decriminalize magic mushroom psilocybin, the active ingredient. You know, this is something that we've been working on for a long time in terms of, is this going to happen and will it take the same path as it did with marijuana? And we're big believers that that will happen. Evidence of that is just last week, Oakland also decriminalized magic mushrooms. We believe that there'll be many more down the path very soon, and it feels great to be the ones making that pathway for others. And I mean, one of the great strengths that we're bringing into this whole space of magic mushrooms is our partnership, soon to be announced partnership with the Agricultural Research Council of Africa, better known as ARC. They are one of the preeminent science institutions in the Southern Hemisphere. And we're going to be announcing some really some powerful stuff with them. And so, I mean, the work that we're going to be doing in psilocybin and medicinal mushrooms is going to be very, very rewarding. And eventually it'll allow us to commercialize some of the, hopefully, drugs in the end, which we'll be able to commercialize those and take those to the marketplace.
Jeff, what's the essential value proposition? Why should investors take an interest in your company today?
So, you know, when we were studying the U.S. market, the Canadian market, and what's going on in the medicinal marijuana space, it's certainly grown in leaps and bounds. I mean, it's been the hustle and bustle that's gone on has been unreal. But what wasn't clear, and now we're seeing it affect a lot of these smaller and larger companies, is that the rules and regulations have not put in place properly yet, the laws, so that people know what they can do. Whereas when we studied South Africa and said, wow, there's a place where the rules, the regs, and everything are as clear as could be, that's where we want to be, number one, because of that. And number two, we want to be there because nobody else is there. I mean, yes, there are certainly some small plantations here and there, but they are, essentially illegal. And for us, this is a great opportunity to be involved in a wonderful area in the Southern Hemisphere where, our work with the ARC, the African Research Council, which is something we're, been working on for a while, it's very large, and we're very, very happy about that.
Leon, you partnered with MJ MedTech earlier this year to commercialize the Dr. Anna RX CBD brand of product. What's the current timeline for sales to begin?
We have secured the sales offtake from within our existing customer base. The launch product range is in its final phase of development, and with the recent loosening of regulations around CBD in South Africa, we are weeks away from having product on the shelf.
Jeff, talk to us about the market opportunity. How big is that market opportunity? What does the competitive landscape look like?
Yeah, great question. It's difficult to say at the moment, how big is that opportunity? But we do know that, Africa is an enormous place. I mean, we're starting in Southern Africa, and then we're going to go to the 8 surrounding countries in early 2020. We will be launching our first line of CBD products in no less than 4 or 5 weeks. And we'll be starting out in close to 1,000 pharmacies. I mean, that's a big launch. We're going to scale up to close to 4,000 pharmacies in the next, call it, 6 months. So the opportunity is massive.
Which leads us to the next question here, Jeff. Your business model. Talk to us about that. How are you going to make money?
Well, one thing that we find very, very important is, how do you get your product on the shelf? And most people, I don't think that through. And when we were looking for a manufacturing partner going back about a year and a half ago, after a lot of due diligence, a lot of work, we ended up finding the right guys, and that was the BioDelta people. And after we, had a lot of great talks, and we visited their operation in Cape Town, we decided to take that up a level, and now we own 49% of the assets of BioDelta, the land, the tunnels for the growing. I mean, it goes on and on and on. But essentially what we do have in BioDelta, and our strengths as well, is that we control the entire supply chain from spore to store. And there aren't many that can say that. BioDelta has been a manufacturer of pharmaceutical products for many years. They're extremely well known. And for us, Wuhan and BioDelta, this merger, it allowed us to get right into that supply chain and go right onto the shelf. So that's why we have our first initial launch in such a big footprint.
Leon, what's the regulatory environment like in the markets you're pursuing?
So a little over 12 months ago, the product was considered illegal. It was at a Schedule 7 status, and it was criminal to have any possession of it. So within that time, it was the scheduling status was changed to Schedule 4. They've subsequently downgraded from Schedule 4 to Schedule 0 for CBD. So it's now considered a Schedule 0 complementary medicine.
Jeff, to recap, what's the main takeaway for investors? Why should they own your stock today?
I mean, our market cap sits at a very small, I think it's around 10 or 12 million. We have close to 11.2 hectares of land, of which approximately 2 hectares of that is already under tunnel. It's all built out, it's ready to go. In terms of square footage, which is more of the North American way, we have close to 350,000 square feet of grow. We will be doing our first plant soon. And then we have another 900,000 square feet ready to go construction, and that'll be the tunnels. And then our deal with ARC, which I can't talk about just yet, but very soon we'll be able to. That takes us from 11 hectares to an incredibly huge number. So, as we start to tell the story and the story gets out there as to why South Africa is a very compelling place to be, everything that we're involved in and the science behind what we do, I think investors will start to, get involved and start, buying our shares, which obviously will start putting some upside movement into the share price.
Sounds compelling, Jeff. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Craig, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you for having me.